Everyone, I'm back, and this time I'm bringing you a mod guide for the jumpzone renagade double-barreled shotgun. I've gone ahead and removed the screws so that it doesn't take us long to get through this, and I'm going to go ahead and butterfly the blaster open. So here we go. I'm going to very gently take a flathead screwdriver and go ahead and pry this open. It seems I've got a couple of screws that aren't quite undone. Alright, so now that the blaster is open, let's get at the internals themselves. I'm going to go ahead and release and remove the barrel assembly because that is separate. We don't need that at the moment. I'm going to, this is the plunger rod. I'm going to go ahead and remove the entire plunger assembly. It's only got one screw right here between the two barrels. I'm going to carefully set that aside and very gently lift this out. It's got a very large spring, a very, very tough spring. And as I suspected, it does have a rotating disc in here. And what it does is it simply opens one barrel and closes the other, as you can see. So I'm not going to mess with that. It's very well greased. It works fine. I'm not going to mess with it, and there doesn't seem to be an air restrictor in here, and that is very nice. No dead space in there. I'm going to leave that as it is, and what I want to remove is this. It's a tiny little plastic piece down here by where the barrel is. What it is a little flap or stick type thing that rubs against notches along the edge of the hinge right here. And it makes a rather annoying, at least in my opinion, a very annoying sound as it grades against those little notches. And eventually it would wear itself out and it would stop making the noise, but I personally don't have the patience to go through that for that long, so I'm just removing that while I'm inside the blaster. This is obviously a priming mechanism, or rather the priming mechanism for this blaster. And as it primes, you can see it operates this little thing right here, which is probably the way that it changes the barrels. It pushes up, thereby changing the selected barrel, and voila. So I'm going to put everything back together, except for the barrel, which I will actually be taking apart at this stage. So I'm going to set this aside for a moment. Be very careful with this. I am going to replace the plunger tube. You're going to put it back in the blaster, set it in, and yeah, things are not wanting to cooperate. Very much so. Now everything seems to be going into position a little bit better. While I'm inside the blaster, I'm going to go ahead and remove this piece. What it is, it's the little piece that holds on the mount for holding the darts, and I'm not going to use the dart holder just because I think it's a little bit too flimsy to be using, so I'm going to remove that. Won't need that anymore. So I'm setting that off to the side. Now I'm going to remove the screws on this. Remove that, and then very carefully butterfly this part. And we'll find, as we very gingerly butterfly this apart, there are two and I've just removed them. Two of these, they're I'm not entirely sure what their purpose is, but I noticed that they seem to be inhibiting the power of the darts, or rather the velocity of the darts, and so I removed these hopefully to add a little bit more power to the darts, or rather velocity. And so I'm going to jump to where this is all back together. Okay, and now it's all back together. I'm going to put it back into the rest of the blaster. Here's the blaster, and these pieces in the handle come out very easily, just to let you know. And so I'm going to put the barrel back on. I'm going to first, however, screw on, or rather screw in, the plunger tube and barrel assembly. There we go. That's all screwed in and in place. And that is now in place as well. And so now I'm going to gingerly and carefully install, not install, but attach the outer shell. And there it is. It's all back together. No longer makes that annoying ratcheting sound. Still sounds the same. Still fires the same. But I do believe that it will fire a bit better now that it doesn't have those impediments in there. And there you go. There's the mod guide for the Renegade shotgun from jumpzone. Hope you guys liked. As always, don't forget to comment, subscribe, don't forget to like, and thanks for watching. This has been Nerfinator, signing off.